Hi there, this is Wise here, and I'm bringing you guys some wise words. Once again, I want to thank you guys for coming by the channel, checking out the information, and as always, I hope that it is helping you or anybody that you love that you've given the information to out. And I want to tell you something. I love you. As always, I love you. And I'm hoping that you're starting to love yourself a bit more. So I really wanted to talk to all of you about something that is extremely important for everyone. You could say that's an opinion, but after I talk to you guys about it, I bet you'll start to be swayed by what I'm saying. So what are we here to talk about today? It's practice. Not a game, not a game, but practice. Well, why do I want to talk about practice? Well, through practice, you can take something that you're currently not good at or something that you currently already know how to do and get way better at it. Anything, whether it's writing, drawing, arithmetic, learning languages, doesn't matter what it is. Like with a lot of the information that I get you guys, to whatever means that you apply it to, it will be beneficial. And don't we want that? Should strive to have more beneficial practices in our life. But it's not just any type of practice I want to talk to you about. There's two types of practice. At least there's two types that I want to cover today. There's purposeful practice, and then the next step, deliberate practice. Now, these two terms are not my terms. I got them from a man named Anders Ericsson. He is, I guess you would call him a psychologist, even though he doesn't really have a degree in the field. At least I don't believe so. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that. But the information comes from a book that he has written called Peak. This book is about, as you can see here, the science of expertise. It's how to become extremely proficient at whatever it is that you're doing. And like I said, it doesn't matter to what end you apply this to. Even if you want to be a better parent, a better athlete, a better coworker, a better lover, it doesn't matter what it is. You can apply it to anything, and as long as you follow a set guideline or you hold yourself accountable, so to speak, then you'll be able to achieve whatever goal that is and become better at whatever it is you're looking to become better at. So in this book, it talks about the two types of practice. Like I said, purposeful practice and deliberate practice. Purposeful practice would be I'm going to start lifting weights to get bigger biceps, or I'm going to start riding my bike in order to lose weight, or get to work quicker on my bike, whatever it might be. Deliberate practice would be I'm going to lift weights not only just to increase the strength of my biceps, but to increase the size of my biceps, let's say by an inch to 2 inches by the time summer's over. Or I am going to ride my bike in order to go from riding at 15 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour within the span of, let's say, the next 1 to 3 months. So you see the differences there. One is, yes, I'm going to practice, I'm going to do something, I'm going to start practicing at something that I want to become better at, but there's no set guideline, no set goal of where you want to get. In the second one, there is that set goal. There's that level of culpability, that bar of accountability that you're trying to reach and ascertain. And those are the two biggest things. He talks in this book how two individuals who have practiced the same thing for the same amount of time can be widely different in the level of skill they possess in that area. So it could be, let's say, playing the guitar. There could be two kids from the age of 7 that have been practicing the guitar until the age of 17. But for some reason, one child is more talented, let's say, better skilled, more dexterous at playing the guitar and just looks more graceful than the other. Now you could say that's because of genetics or that's because of hand mobility, whatever it is. But most studies have shown that's due to the case of practice, but not just any type of practice. Like I said, these two have been practicing the same amount of time. It's deliberate practice. It's, let's say one of them was practicing 3 hours a day and so was the other one, but one of them said, okay, I'm going to practice for 3 hours a day, but the songs that I'm practicing, I want to make sure that at the very least I get, let's say, this song 5 times in a row perfect, played it absolutely perfect, every chord, every rhythm perfect, right on time. And the other kid just practiced 3 hours a day, and just for the sake of practicing, even if he messed up, even if it wasn't perfect, he would just continue going on and not working at the part that he's having difficulty with. So those two go on the next 10 years practicing in the manners that I've described, and that's where you see the acceleration or the higher level in the second child that you didn't see in the first child. It was the type of practice that they applied. It's kind of like the old adage says, practice makes perfect. There has been an addendum recently that perfect practice makes perfect, which you could take that with a grain of salt if you want, but I'm going to give you some information, or at least some ways that you can apply it to your daily life, and then you can be the judge for yourself. So first, as always, I want to bring you guys just a little bit of information out of this book, not too far into it. I'm not going to go too far into it. I'm just going to give you a couple of paragraphs. So here we go. This comes out of the second chapter called Harnessing Adaptability. If you're a bodybuilder or someone lifting weights to add muscle or to add muscle, it is easy to track your results as you challenge your biceps, triceps, quadriceps, pecs, delts, lats, traps, abs, glutes, calves, and hamstrings. A tape measure works, or you can simply look in the mirror and admire your progress. If you're running or biking or swimming, to increase your endurance, you can track your progress by heart rate, your breathing, and how long you can keep going until your muscles falter due to lactic acid buildup. But if your challenge is mental, becoming proficient in calculus, say, or learning to play a musical instrument or speak a new language, it is different. There is no easy way to observe the results or resulting change in your brain as it adapts to the increased demands being placed on it. There is no soreness in the cortex the day after a particular tough training session. You don't have to go out and buy new hats because the old ones are now too small. You don't develop a six-pack on your forehead. And because you can't see the changes in your brain, it is easy to assume there is really nothing going on there. So that is really what I wanted to cover. I believe a lot of people practice, but they don't think about how the practice is working, or they don't take time to step back and maybe apply their new brain skill or their new brain functioning to another subject, or just seeing if you're now more mentally clear. So with practice, especially purposeful practice or deliberate practice, you have to be able, for one, to hold yourself accountable. So let's say that you want to become proficient at chopping an onion, for instance. You will go get a bag of onions and make sure that you're going to be making something that you're going to use these onions for. I suggest onion soup, vegetarian. It's probably very, very tasty. No, it is very, very tasty. I make it whenever I can get my hand on a bag of onions. But with that being said, let's say you're trying to get proficient at chopping and you're getting ready to make this onion soup. What you're going to do is you're going to get out the 10 to 15 onions, whatever you're going to use, and you're going to say to yourself, I will julienne these onions as perfectly as possible, every single one of them. So they're nice, almost perfect, quarter of an inch little juliennes, maybe a little bit smaller, everywhere around, every single one of them. You can't distinguish one from the other because they're all identical. And you're going to take your time cutting that onion and making sure that it looks absolutely amazing. And after you do that enough, through that deliberate practice, part of your brain that is responsible for long-term memory takes over. The muscle memory, I know a lot of you have heard that term muscle memory, is now part of the long-term memory. That's why your body moves, kind of like a fighter that has fought for so long. They move without even thinking. It's the same thing whenever you're doing something like even cutting an onion. And then you can also apply that to your mentality. So, as mentioned in the book, let's say you're trying to learn a new language. At first, you want to set goals such as I want to learn how to conjugate well, or I want to learn subject, predicate, preposition placement in this language. Whatever it might be, you tell yourself, this is my goal as I'm learning the words and the languages. This is how I want to be able to track my progress. I know what the nouns are. I know how to conjugate nouns. I know what the verbs are. I know how to conjugate the verbs, and so on and so forth. Or you just want to do it in a way that you're comfortable with, a way that you know that your brain will adapt to the information. And after doing that a while, at first, you track your progress, and then maybe let's say you can speak to somebody who's a conversationalist in the language that you're learning, whether it be Spanish, French, German, Japanese, Dutch, English, doesn't matter, whatever it is. I guess if you're learning English and you're listening to this, I hope that I'm speaking slowly enough for you that you understand me and that my English as well. But whatever it is that you're trying to learn, see if you can find somebody that speaks that language and talk to them in that language. And then they would be able to tell you whether or not it was like having a conversation with someone who speaks that language as their first language, or if you still sound like you're working through it. And that's how one way you can track your progress. You can also track your progress with maybe watching a movie in that language and seeing if you can first watch it with the subtitles and try not to pay attention to the subtitles, but just see if you're translating it correctly in your head. Then going on and seeing if maybe you can watch the whole movie without subtitles. And then from there, maybe you can try books. And it's all progressionary. Now, when it comes to practice, a level of accountability has to be held. Because usually, you're the only one there. Unless you're doing something like using a personal trainer or taking classes from a pianist or at the golfing course taking classes from the golf pro. If somebody is not there to hold you accountable, you have to hold yourself accountable. That's where a lot of people separate themselves from the novices to the experts. The level of expertise comes in that being able to hold yourself accountable to practice even when you don't want to. Even when it's hard, even when it's raining outside, even when your girlfriend just broke up with you or your boyfriend just broke up with you, even when you just woke up and you stubbed your toe, to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Whatever it is that you're looking to become more proficient at, take it by the horns and make sure that every day you're pushing your parameters on it as much as you can. Now, I bet you guys are saying, Umar, well, you're preaching, but are you practicing what you're preaching about practice? And I'd have to say yes. Every day I get up and I work out tremendously for about an hour to an hour and a half with my workout partner, aka my girlfriend. She's a nut job. Then after that, I'll meditate for anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. If you can hear the birds out here chirping, they usually help me out with my meditation, keep me on track. Then after that, I'll put stuff in the blender to make a smoothie. I'll read for a little bit. I'll clean the house if it needs cleaning, unload the dishwasher. I'm always expanding my parameters. Like it's with the working out that I do, constantly doing different types of workouts, pushing my body, whether it be with martial arts or whether it be with weight training or plyometrics or high intensity interval training. With the meditation, if you guys have seen on here before, I have tons of books on meditation and cultivating inner energies. I'm always trying to push my parameters on that. And whatever it is you're looking to practice, then I recommend trying to get a guru or somebody that is really proficient at doing it, if you can. If not, pick up a book by somebody who's proficient at whatever it is you're looking to get better at. Cleaning a house, I can't really get, you can get better, I guess. I need to buy a Roomba just so I can have a little bit more time. It'll save me about 45 minutes a day. But I'm always pushing my parameters with practice. I'm practicing right now. These videos, as you guys know, this one, I think I've only have maybe a dozen or so up. So right now, this is practice for me. I've recently purchased a new camera So I'm going to see how that works out. I'm learning video editing because I want you guys to enjoy this information. Right now, I know it's just kind of rough cut, turn the camera on, go, and then give it to you guys. But I want to be able to give it to you guys where you enjoy watching it so that the information is fun. Double entendre. You get to learn and you get to have fun. That's what I want. That is what I want for you guys. And by practicing, I'll be able to achieve that. I want you guys to take what I've said, maybe even with a grain of salt, and just apply it to your own life. At the very least, give it 21 days. Anybody who has ever studied neuroplasticity or any type of brain functioning or psychology has probably heard it takes usually 21 days, sometimes 30, to build up a new habit, to make or break a habit, that is. So whatever it is you're trying to cultivate, you have to give it time. You have to give it time to nurture, water it, let it grow, like this tree behind me. You have to give it time. So at least give it 21 days. So like I was saying, whether it's the cycling or the language learning, or you're trying to learn macrame, or you're trying to learn how to fly kites, or origami, anything, give it time. At the very least 21 days. What's 3 weeks? I know people that go through binge series and that, well, probably way less than 3 weeks, but think of all the things that you do in 3 weeks that you can give yourself maybe an hour to 2 hours a day that you practice, and you really want to become good at it. You can become good at it. I promise you guys. I've applied it in my own life, and now I'm asking you to apply it in yours. So, as always, guys, I want to wish you infinite love, infinite peace, and infinite wisdom.